Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? We are in studio. We're back, baby.
The vibe is better. You know, it always is.
It is. It's energetic. This is a show. We put on a show every week, and it's not, some people are like, I'm just hanging with my two friends, which is nice. But we amp it up. There's an amping up.
There's an
that
energy
goes on.
that you get from being in person.
Absolutely.
How is it going with the hat? Is I think what everyone wants to know. Your newest relationship.
Me and my new girlfriend, the hat.
Seem inseparable.
Yeah, we are doing well. Most of all,
you're like the way you've described another, how a woman has described you. At first, I wasn't even attracted,
right?
And now I'm completely at your whim, beck and call.
At first, I couldn't see myself with that.
Right.
And now I'm in love. I love them. I want to spend every minute with the hat. I didn't wear it. If you're watching on YouTube, you know this already. But if you're listening, I haven't worn it here. I wore it last night. Took it out for a date night.
It's a little rainy today.
It's a little rainy. I was worried, but that's why I got the beaver fur. That's made, it can go in the rain. It's a forever hat.
This hat has thought of everything.
So
what can she do?
We haven't spoken since... Okay. We haven't spoken since I went back in there.
Yeah.
And
I saw it on Instagram. It was incredible.
Well, I have to say, shout out to Kimosabe. They have created just a fabulous experience. You walk in there, you are intoxicated. It is Build-A-Bear Workshop.
That's how you sell an overpriced hat.
Absolutely. You need to convince people that I walked out of Kimosabe and it was like I went through a tornado and then I just had a hat on. Like I was just like, what happened just now?
Well, that could be like its own course in like sales, right?
Absolutely. I mean, all the people that work there, they're like car salesmen. Like you walk in, someone grabs you. Let's see what this would look like. Just put it on. Right.
Yeah.
Throw it on.
You fall in love with the version of yourself in the hat.
You're absolutely right. And they said, and I told you this, I think last week, there was a sale.
Oh, yeah.
And they never do a sale. This is like once a year. You got lucky. I'm sure they say this to every idiot that gets off the flight from New York. You are in luck. And so the sale was the end of ski season sale.
Okay.
So you walk in, and on the right, there's this rack of hats, and they're made for a baby. Like the sale hats were like, could fit on your pinky.
Oh, okay. You didn't get the sale hat.
They didn't fit. They go, these are them. Do they fit?
Okay.
And lucky, one person with a baby head.
A very small head.
Right.
Okay.
Is like, oh my God, the best day of my life. It's $100. And then I went with my friend Leslie. We went to college together. We were in like the greater friend group of college.
She just happened to be in Aspen?
She's remote. She's a lawyer working remote from Aspen. Like this is the new post-2020 reality. And she's... close friend, and our like friends are like friends of ours are married and stuff, so like we all share all these college people that are like now with families and kids, and we're in Aspen hanging out, and she was like, I have to go with you. And I was like, yeah, let's go. We went, and she fits in the sale hat.
Did she buy a sale hat?
All she talked about was the sale hat. Oh my God, I can't believe I got it on sale, and I'm sitting there in debt.
How much was your hat?
It's not polite to talk about money. I am not.
I really want to know. Is it more than 500?
I am not going to talk about how much the hat was.
You're not going to tell us.
I will.
Now you know how it feels when you talk about my house.
Right. I have to be relatable to these peasants that listen.
It was
over $1,000.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
it was over $1,000.
I'm not proud of that.
Jesus, wow. Okay,
I got.
Okay,
because here's what happens.
I mean, it was a beautiful hat.
Listen, I'm going through something right now, Jordana. Okay,
is this your midlife crisis? No Corvette.
That is my Corvette.
Okay.
I'm definitely going through something. I'm overworking.
That is going to solve all your problems.
I'm drinking too much. I put on the hat. I go, it's not so bad. I had a little scruff going.
Well, now you have
now I got to commit to the beard.
Right.
I got to commit to a whole look now.
I was sending you like GIFs from Yellowstone. Like
Jordana, I've come to realize you're a great friend, but like in times of like, let's go nuts. You're a good encourager.
Oh, I'm good for that?
Yeah, you are. I wouldn't think of you. When we first met, I never would have thought of you as being the person like, get the hat, have the drink, party.
This is the perk of being a 39-year-old single man, no kids.
Right.
You want to buy yourself $1,000 hat. You don't have to check with anyone.
I did.
Buy yourself a fucking hat.
Well, it
Treat
makes
yourself.
me. This is the hard part of being single at this age. Is this like, what am I doing? Should I be doing more? Should I be doing less? Should I be preparing a home?
YOLO.
It is a YOLO moment, and I think like the pandemic adds to this. Like just like we're in this like fuck it mode. You see it in New York City.
Just do it. Yeah. Sure, eclipse that.
There's an eclipse. It's Mercury's in retrograde. That's why I spent $1,000. I mean, you even see it in New York City. Like, the city is like a Thursday night every night. Like, people are out.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, everyone's kind of doing I'll get the other drink. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're all hoping the world does end in a month from now.
I mean,
wouldn't it be nice?
Sometimes, in some ways.
Candace just gave a no
Candace
right away.
I've got shit to live for, unlike you, losers.
I got nothing. Right? You got a big home to redecorate.
I mean, it's a lot of work. I could, if let's say we're all gone, none of it mattered.
My $1,000 hat is nothing compared to this castle Jordana comes from.
Now you're
trying.
Now you're just trying to get back at me.
Right.
Now you're just.
Okay, I'll bring it on me.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you walk in. Leslie's talking about the sale she got. She's it's funny. We're both amped up by the experience. They give you a beer. They go in the back. The fridge has a beer in it. They're coming around with margaritas, and everyone is just buzzing around this store. And the sale is like in the background, but there's a point where I was like, I'm out of the sale game. And then they look at you. They go, okay,
we got one.
They got a live one, because she put the hat on my head. And then she brings out a few. And then she's like, well, this, and the woman who helped me, very nice. She's from Massachusetts. She's not even from the range. Like, I thought she was from, like, Yosemite.
She should have a story like this, like a stripper does.
Right. I need
paying my way through college.
Right. So she puts on, she goes, this one's rabbit. And I might be missing
from
the animals.
I'm from the cattle ranches of Wyoming.
Right.
Yeah.
My uncle taught me how to make these hats.
Lasso, yeah.
Yeah. Little do I know, she's like, I learned at the Natick Mall.
Right.
On Route 9, so they put the hats on, and it's like, I might be mixing up the animals, but I'm not. I don't think I am. If we want to look this up, rabbit fur. She goes, rabbit fur. This is rabbit.
The PETAs are coming for you. I can
listen,
already feel them.
A lot of animals died to make this hat.
You're traumatizing Candace.
I'll keep going through because there's other animals to reference. Okay. But it starts, they go rabbit or beaver. Okay. And they go rabbit, 4 years. It's going to the rain. You can't really wear it out. It's $400. They go, but beaver's a forever hat.
Right.
And I go, this is within 10 minutes of walking
Beaver's a forever hat.
Beaver's a forever hat. That should be merch. That is because that's the minute where I go, well, I got to get beaver. I it was sold. I'm like now I'm in the $800 land. I'm a beaver guy. I love going down on beaver. I love wearing beaver.
It's fate.
Fate. So I then start trying on the hat, and then they go, we're going to trim it to, fit your face. So the minute they trim this hat,
it's yours.
You're in. You're fucked.
Yeah. You can't be, sending it back.
Right. And you kind of are over the hump. I got 2 beers in me. I've had the margarita.
It's happening.
And, again, when you go with a friend, I wouldn't encourage anyone to go with a friend because I'm looking at Leslie. I'm doing it to her. She's putting on boots. And I'm going, well, you got to get them. Within seconds, you're encouraging each other. You're egging each other on. Everyone in the hat store's out of their minds.
You're also I'm not going to be the only sucker. You better get something too.
Right. Well, if you buy something, then I feel less of,
right.
So then they go, don't worry, all the stuff we do with the hat is free. It comes with it. So that's when the Build-A-Bear thing starts to happen, because then they bring you over to this like feather studio. There's feathers and there's cards. You can burn the cards, put them in the side of your hat. You can look like a real
they know what they're doing.
Fucking idiot. Yeah. You know, so she gives me this hat and she goes, I go, you tell me what belt should go on the hat, because you got to get a belt for the hat.
I mean, of course.
What am I doing here?
Of course.
So
how much is the belt?
She goes, I got a gator one. It's $150. I go, throw it in.
A lot of animals, dead animals in this.
Killed a lot of animals to make this hat.
Okay.
So then they put the feather in. Now a bird's died. And now, but we went subtle.
Now you got a whole ranch on your head.
Total. A subtle ranch. And I'm wearing it and I'm putting it on social media. A lot of encouragement from, the listeners. Thank you. So yeah.
It looks good.
It looks good. And I told you, I need places to wear it. Now, I wore it all weekend in Denver. Denver is a place you can wear it.
You could wear it in Texas,
Colorado, Florida, because Florida is a bunch of idiots. Like, it doesn't matter what you do there.
Coachella.
I'm not going to Coachella.
If you were, that's where you could wear
it. Unless they have a couch section that I can guaranteed a seat.
Even Travis and Taylor were standing up.
They were. If they're standing, I'm never going.
Yeah.
Because they can afford to sit.
Like that. It's part of the experience. Anyway.
So I walked out with the hat. And I've worn it in New York. I wore it to the Comedy Cellar.
Seems like you already got your money's worth.
Yeah, you can find. And also, here's the thing. Remember that show Mystery, like the pickup artist?
No.
There was a show called The Pickup Artist. It was on VH1. This guy Mystery was this big, tall, lanky dude who taught people how to pick up women.
Okay.
And the show, I think if we went back and looked at it, we should probably do this on The Bachelor in this off season. The Bachelor's doing off season episodes.
Recaps.
So what we're doing on The Bachelor is recapping episode 1 of an old season and then telling you what happens throughout the season afterwards, and then having a guest on each episode to from that season. The first one we did was we did Caitlin Bristow's season of The Bachelor.
Oh, love it.
With
the two bachelorettes. That was controversial.
Also, wild to think, how hard that other woman's life might be if
Brit?
she can't.
I remember her name.
Yes. Yeah. And, you go look at Brit and you go,
I think she's doing okay.
I'm sure she is, but it's hard to not look. It's like when you go to high school with someone and, you're single and they're married.
Right.
And you go, well, I guess I would
she's
want.
She's not doing as well as Caitlin Bristow. But,
that's the thing. Yeah. Doesn't own a wine company.
But
we don't know how I don't have the financials. So
Jason probably does. That's his whole thing.
That's right. He's on an episode of J Train podcast. You want to hear Jason Tardik?
He's great.
Interviewed him. Great. We talked about finances, all this stuff. So,
you talk about Caitlin's finances?
Well, I did ask him. I go, do you look back on how you discuss finances with your ex? We didn't bring it, not going to name names. I keep it classy. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit. So, this is all to say, Mystery had a thing. You bring him up. I mean, he looks ridiculous.
The middle guy?
The middle guy. So he used to wear crazy things. And it was but he said it was called peacocking.
Right.
That you wear this crazy thing and women will just come up to you to touch it. And
I feel like you do that.
Well, I guess the hat is a form of peacocking. But what you quickly realize is what Mystery was doing is kind of like an asshole thing, because the only people that come up to you are the least confident people. Because they'll come up to you and go, people will tell you it looks bad. Stop it. I've had people come up
with the hat.
Right.
That's so rude.
Right. And I started
just randoms.
People that were at the show. I had a woman. I was at the show. I took it off in the middle of the set, and she's like, "Oh, thank God."
Wow.
And I'm like,
I think I've only done that to you with the mustache.
The mustache is another form of peacocking.
It's true.
But I never felt it as much as the hat, where you get people. It just feels like it doesn't unearth people you should, healthy-minded people.
Right.
The people that are nice are love it.
I mean, what kind of a lunatic would insult something someone was currently wearing?
It is lunacy. I agree. But that's why I'm that Mystery show ages horribly. I don't think he was teaching people how to meet someone who was ready to meet them. It was more
I'm sure.
meet someone.
Yeah.
You know?
Sounds like a pickup artist game. Yeah.
Right. That's where negging came from.
Right.
where it's like say mean things and it'll inspire. Well, when you say mean things to someone and it inspires them to talk to you more, that's a self-conscious person.
Right, you find an insecure person to prey on.
Right.
That's basically
so that's kind of what the hat does too, a little
right.
bit. And you notice it. So
do you miss it now that you're not?
It's at home.
You think about it a lot?
Well, they were tired from last night and I just wanted them to take a nap.
But make sure they stay pretty. It's raining, I get it.
Well, you do have to take care of it. You can't like just put it on its brim. It takes some work. I know what it's like to be a father.
Yeah. Wear your hat. I get it.
I gotta take care of this hat. Other than that, I'm just living, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm very much in a YOLO mode. Very much.
I love it. I think that's good.
How are you? How's the move?
I'm moving in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. So just prepping all that stuff. And it's a lot of I get a lot of first world problems over here. I got a lot of decisions to make.
Anything specifically?
Just like the renovation, you just have to make 7 billion choices.
Everything's
it's
a
like
choice.
The most first world problem you could ever have, but it is causing me a bit of anxiety.
And do you want Mike involved in these decisions, or do you
He's
does
very
he not?
Involved.
He is.
He is very firmly involved.
I like
I don't know. He's so involved that I'm almost insulted that I feel like he doesn't like my taste. Because he's like, let me get on that call with the designer,
the granite guy,
right? Yeah. He's like, let's just make sure we're aligned. I'm like, you must really think I'm gonna fuck this up.
Really? Well, this is like when you really learn about your partner. I feel like you know.
Well, I guess I'm not that surprised because when we were planning our wedding, he was also very involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is the first time you realized he had taste? Because I have no taste.
It certainly wasn't when I went to his apartment for the first time. That was, and I saw his
surprise.
And I saw his gnomes all over his room, and his like red couch. That was definitely not when I discovered he had taste. But
well,
I think it's probably planning the wedding. I think, yeah.
That's interesting. Like, because like I have opinions on everything. Don't care about anything.
Right.
Like I'll talk shit after the thing I did. Like I'll go, you know, like as I told you,
the worst guest at a wedding.
Yeah, I'm the worst guest at a wedding because I'm like, yeah, it was fun, but like I have notes.
Right, and even you have notes and no idea what goes into any of it.
None. Yes. I don't care.
Yeah. So he's very involved.
Good.
I would say
this.
It's good. It's good except for when we disagree.
What have you disagreed on?
We were coming up with some like inspiration pictures for like our kitchen and
like a vision board.
Not a vision, just like you know. You look on like Instagram
and you go, I want it to look like this.
Maybe we should do this with the cabinets. Like this looks really cool, or like what do you? And then when we disagree, it's a little like there's no third person,
right?
So it's like, well, what are we gonna do?
Right.
Like,
the easy part is that French Chateau is out because that's what the original.
Yes,
the original
we're
decorating.
You're
aligned on
not
that.
what it currently is.
Yeah.
But it is funny, all the little decisions that we are making together, and like, you know, I've already started a fight. Like, yeah. I'm like, you're not like you're just saying no to everything I'm presenting.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like what's your idea? Or like I don't like that. And it does get a little like, you know.
This is where my line comes in, and it's helpful. We write to edit.
Right.
So it's like, okay, a no is not a good answer.
No, yeah, it's no to this, but yes to that part.
Right,
yeah.
I like where you're going.
Right.
I don't like that. Let's take a little slight right.
Yes.
Instead of going straight.
Exactly, and you have to. What I've learned from this to make it truly about relationships, I'm sure you could apply this to anything else. Is like you've got to be in the right mode to discuss this shit. You can't just be like, if he's watching like basketball, and I'm like, what do you think of this tile? And he's like, I don't, you're not, so then basically we came up with, all right, Saturday after dinner, we both bring our own pictures, we bring our own ideas,
I like this.
and we discuss it at this time in this place. So you're not just being randomly bombarded with like, ideas and you're not in the mood. Like you say, that attitude is what that you bring to it.
It's a great relationship advice from experience because I not being in a relationship, I do understand this idea of like, what do you think?
Right.
Is so annoying.
And you're right here.
And then you're either mean to the person
right.
in a way you don't want to be mean, or my first thing is like, whatever's the easiest way to get you the fuck out of my face. That would be my response.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I'm in a kitchen of my own, makings
that you hate,
that I hate. Yeah. It's like no ice maker. I'd be like, what did I do why am I in this marriage?
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think you could bring that to anything. If you want to discuss finances in your relationship, you can't be like, well, I think we should do this just like randomly. It is nice to have like a separate time to discuss it when everyone can come in like the mood that they know that's going to be on the table.
It's sad that the only like the only like thing I feel this on, like what this makes me think of is like when people DM me while I'm doing The Bachelor on my stories, and they're like, "Hey, so I'm having issues with the ticket people on Ticketmaster," and I'm like,
I'm working here.
Do you see? I'm posting every 5 seconds. Like, you think this is the time for me to help you through your ticket issue, which I can't help you with?
Right, or even to respond in a way that seems like well thought out and whatever. Like, not now.
Yeah, not now.
It's true. Timing is a lot of your energy that you bring to things.
Oh, absolutely. Like when do you ask? How do you ask? Am I in the mood to eat this right now?
Exactly.
Yeah. So on the subject of tickets, I'm on the road. People would love for you to come. The shows have been great.
Where are you going?
I'm everywhere. I never stop. This weekend specifically, I'm in San Francisco. I love San Francisco. We got a lot of nice messages about our San Francisco talk.
Because we were nice about it?
I guess. I don't know.
That happens when you're nice about something.
Right. I do love that town. It's a painting. I sit and stare at San Francisco. So I'm there this weekend with 5 shows. It's a big room. So like the Saturday show's already sold out. This is a week and a half.
That's great.
Before. That's great. So if you want to like go to like one of the earlier shows, I'm sure you got to like get on that shit. So San Francisco this weekend. Then in Pittsburgh, I came. I did the shows. Had a great time. It's a little bit Boise right now. It's it's me.
Get your shit together, Pittsburgh.
10 people I went to Penn State with. So come on. Pittsburgh, Funny Bone, Columbus, Ohio, LA, Los Angeles. Big show, big room. Want you to come.
That'll be great.
New Orleans. I don't even know if podcasts exists in New Orleans.
I've never. That's the one place that I haven't been that I feel like I should have been by now.
You and Mike should do a trip.
Is it a fun couples trip?
Yes.
Yeah?
Abs for eating, drinking, it's a romantic city.
Really?
Oh my God. Frenchman Street, the music.
He's been a few times.
He could wear his hat.
His old man cap?
His old man cap would work there. There's a lot. There are people that like become, I mean, I have a family friend who like, he just moved to New Orleans. Like there's like a New Orleans guy. It's like very like I go to festivals. I love jazz. I love music. It's a type of guy who just like moves to New Orleans. And
I don't think I've ever known anyone who's moved to New Orleans besides people who went to like Tulane
for 4 years. They went to New Orleans Island for 4 years. No, there's a type that like I do think that hat speaks to the New Orleans vibe.
Right, I'll pitch. I mean,
I'm a hat guy, as you know. I know hat vibes.
I'll pitch it. I should visit New Orleans.
I think that'd be a fun weekend for a couples weekend. Nice hotels. It's French, but you're Frenchy.
Who needs to go to France?
Go to New Orleans. It's got the mix of Creole. It's all good, and you could do like fun things. Do a bayou tour. You could wake up early, go on the bayou. That's something you didn't seem excited about. This.
Are you on the New Orleans tourism board?
Apparently.
Visit NewOrleans.com.
You can go to Bacchanal. Bacchanal is like one of the most famous wine bars in the country.
Oh, really?
Look it up, Candace, if you can look it up. One of the most like top wine places in the world, supposedly.
All right, I gotta hit up New Orleans.
You've been there, so it's got this backyard. I just think it's like a fun place.
All right.
Hot take: New Orleans is fun.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Dallas, what the fuck are we doing?
I'll send my whole family when you
send the family. Well, I'll get them.
No, I'll
get 30 tickets for Jordana again. Zanies, West Hampton, Milwaukee.
Did you get your reservations for West Hampton?
I haven't done anything.
Oh my God.
Look at me. We're the yin and the yang of podcast co-hosts. You're like clean. You look good. I'm like this dirty schlep.
You got a hat. You're killing it.
The hat. Siegelman Stable. This guy sent me the hat.
It's a cool hat.
Well,
I didn't realize it was such a thing.
It's a thing. It's hot girl attire.
Ugh, I'm never clued into the hot girl attires. I'm in like the 7 years ago girl attire.
Don't worry, you got me.
Great. You got me to let me know what the girls are wearing.
What the ladies,
the
hot fashion tips of the day. I'm in Atlantic City and then I'm in Newark, New Jersey. JaredFree.com. And on the subject of Plug City, this is a plug for the U Up podcast. We're doing a segment in the coming weeks called Friends to Lovers. So if you are out there with a story of how a friend became a lover,
gone wrong or gone right,
you might be married, you might be broken up from the person, you might be friends again.
You might never speak to each other again.
It might have ended the friendship that, in my opinion, was never a friendship.
Yes. We want your stories.
UUP@Betches.com. Friends to lovers.
So, could be an awkward encounter. Could be any of it.
I mean, Friends to lovers is generally awkward.
There used to be a dating show that was like where you had to reveal to your friend that you were in love with them.
Was that like an MTV show?
Yeah,
like
I think so.
Yeah, like in the next phase of things.
Yeah, it was like a little. I think it was a little bit after that. It might have been like VH1. It was like along the lines of like True Life. You know, True Life on whatever.
They made it more documentary style.
Right.
It was a little more serious.
Like, I'm going to tell my friend. It was like, why does your friend think
Loder's hosting?
It's like, why does your friend think there are cameras everywhere? Like, are they curious?
I just wanted to let you know. Right. We're going for lunch.
Yeah, and sometimes it worked out, and sometimes they were like not interested. Candace, do you know what the name is? What? Friend Zone. That sounds like that would be the name of it.
There were 5 seasons.
I watched.
I'd watch now. I mean, I'm hearing you talk about it. I'm like, I do remember though this existing.
Yeah, it was basically you had a really good friend. The concept was, and then like you brought the cameras along with you to like tell them that you have feelings for them.
I mean, that show could still work today.
It could, and
that's why we're doing the segment.
Exactly.
Which someone will probably take and run with and start their own YouTube
show,
series with it. You know, that's what happens with the show.
You heard it here first.
But let's jump right in.
Let's do it. All right.
What are we talking about today?
I'll read our first email.
Okay, go for it.
Hi, Jordana and Jared. I'm a single 32-year-old man struggling to get more than 1 or 2 dates with women I meet on the apps. I have no problems getting matches, so I go on a lot of first dates. My first dates normally involve getting coffee, then going for a walk, mainly because I find most bars too loud and distracting. But also, how old is this guy?
It's all this noise.
Is this Gary Turner?
He's back on the scene.
But also, I feel like there is less pressure for something to happen after the date.
Too loud and distracting. Do you think people read back their emails to themselves ever?
And they're like, I sound fun.
Right.
I know, of course, this isn't always romantic, but it's difficult for me to be romantic with someone I've never met before. I try to be open-minded and keep low expectations about a first date. If the conversation's good, we have some things in common, and I'm attracted to them, then I will want to go on a second date. When I ask for a second date, I'm often turned down. And the reason is almost always some version of, I just see us as friends. This has happened so much that I think I must be doing something wrong. Some possibilities that come to mind are oversharing, asking too many questions, not asking enough questions. Interesting that it could be either of those.
What kind of reflection have you done that it could have been anything?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
the fact that it could be both.
I'm being too much, too little, too medium.
Not being alpha enough. Not being romantic enough.
Oh, the alpha word.
There we go.
We got a guy who also subscribes to Rogan.
Not being romantic enough. No physical contact. The list could go on forever. Is it ever okay to ask them what the reason was? I certainly respect their decision to decline a second date and understand it's not always easy to explain what determines who you are or not attracted to.
Well, I don't respect their decision for no.
I don't respect. I don't agree.
I don't agree. You're going out with me again.
I don't want to put anyone in an uncomfortable position, but I'm really curious and eager to turn my dating life around. Thank you. Possibly an overthinker.
We make jokes, we make fun, but his problem is a problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys have this issue. You don't. But I think a lot of guys do.
Well, I generally get to date 2-ish, or if we both, I don't know.
I don't think you get friend zoned very often.
Well, I'm not looking for friends, but I
mean, neither is this guy, supposedly.
No, but I would also say to this guy, it's very male in the how do I fix this?
Right.
You know, this is very like, I want to just, and his whole email is, I get it. Like completely. Like it's very like, even the way he goes, I'm open-minded, but he's like, I only do coffee and a walk for the first. It's like, you're not open-minded.
Right.
You are trying to math this out.
Yeah. I mean, that was my first immediate suggestion was a walk date, a coffee date. Does not really set up a sexy vibe. It does give a friend vibe.
It does. And I'm asking you to speak for all women. Would you, a coffee date seems to not do well with a lot of women.
I've never really like hit it off with someone that I went on a coffee date with as a first date.
Yeah.
Maybe like as a subsequent date, like we don't have time for a meal or drink, like getting coffee, that could work. But I think a coffee date sets up like a friendship networking vibe. It doesn't feel very, it's like during the day, I assume it's like.
It's interviewee.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very sexy. So I'm not surprised. And again, I don't know his personality, but if he's describing himself as not alpha enough, then I don't think this is helping his situation, or not even like the alpha thing, but like
even to think of whether it's alpha or not is this element of like organization, and organization isn't like a fun way to meet people.
Right.
Like, so it does.
It sounds like efficient. Like I have a go on as many first dates. I'm trying to get in as many as possible, when like, I think we should really be aiming for quality over quantity here. Maybe go on less dates that you feel more exciting.
Right. And find some places that aren't loud.
Right.
You know, that
aren't
there's
a million bars that aren't like, you don't have to go to like the most crowded bar where you can't hear anyone speak. There's wine bars that are like quiet and sexy feeling with good lighting.
And for this guy who's like he's seemingly well researched and looking for this mathematical equation, let's concentrate your math and reasoning to the place you're going.
Right.
You know, like let's put that good, you know, that good sense of like, let me figure this out to the place you're going in a space that a woman would best see you on your best, you know, terms, so to speak.
Yeah. I think the energy of a place that you pick is like very underrated.
So we talked about it when I went on the date with our listener.
Right.
About how I was uncomfortable at the place that was giving us the free drinks and free whatever.
Even a couch situation can lead to an uncomfortable position.
Not being my best self and not allowing for us to really like feel comfortable together. His question though, should you ask for a why if a first date?
No. I don't think you get a why unless you've been dating someone for like 2 months. 2 months and they're over it. A why, I don't think you'll still get an answer, but I think you were entitled to the question. One date, I don't really think. That's just, no one's going to give you a real answer.
Right.
The answer is after one date, the answer is some form of, I didn't feel a connection.
It's mystical almost.
Yeah. It's not like, I don't think I could give anyone. I don't think there's any answer besides that I could give anyone for not wanting to go on a second date. Unless, again, there's some crazy thing that they did, like they booped me from the last episode. A boop might have done
got something on your shirt.
Yeah, I think maybe like if they did something very weird, which is very rare.
Right.
Or maybe you said something that made me very uncomfortable. Maybe then, but most of the vast majority, 99% of the time, you just didn't feel it.
Well, and also, this guy doesn't even know what he's doing on the date. Did I ask too many questions? Did I ask too little questions? Like, dude.
Be yourself.
You don't even know who you are on this date.
Right.
Like, it's like, I would know after a date if I wasn't asking enough questions. I could go back and run through the tape in my brain and go, Jared, you kind of just went on and on. And if I do feel I'm going on and on the date, I go, I'm sorry, I haven't shut the fuck up. I acknowledge it in the middle of the date if I'm noticing it. So, I think he needs to get more in touch with himself and what he's doing on these dates. And I think part of that is what you said is a perfect. I don't know how much he wants to go on these dates.
Right. He seems like he's trying to just get the girlfriend, so he's trying to do the most efficient thing, which is pack as many dates into his schedule as he possibly can.
Right. Let's have some quality dates instead of just, it's a numbers game. Like he's playing and it's very male in that sense. Like just get as much women as possible, and one of them is going to stick against the wall.
Yeah, that doesn't feel very special. Again, like a coffee date doesn't feel very special. It doesn't feel very like sensual. It doesn't feel like what we thought out.
Well, to me, this also, and this is why I'm not on the dating apps.
I would never go on a walk with a guy on a first date. Just throwing that out there. I would never do that.
I think it's got to be a walk that like is special. Like if he presented a walk that was like, I love this one area. There's a place that we can get wine and it's at the end of this park and I would love to take you out to, Saturday, 5:00. I got to, like you could play it. No?
I don't think maybe the walk after if the place that we're meeting is going well. I don't think you should meet someone for the first time and not be able to look at them in the eye.
Yeah, it's shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, like I'm walking next to you. That's like, a good point. I think it's just it's not a good way to get to know someone. You can't really get like an energy from that.
But I guess let's go for a walk. Let's get a coffee. It's a show of not excitement. So like, and I think in his defense, this is kind of the groove you get into with a dating app. Mm-hmm. And this is like the reason to get off of dating apps. Like I noticed this in myself.
To go out with less people from the dating apps.
Right. You get in dating app world, it's like you have a lot of nice conversations that aren't really motivating you to go out. Mm-hmm. And if you're this guy who's like, I got to go on 10 dates a month, now you're going on a lot of dates that you wouldn't have really been excited about just because you got to get to your 10.
Right.
So, and I think like maybe for this guy, maybe it's time to like, let's turn this off for a second. Let's go out with friends and family and like kind of feel what your relationships, your real relationships feel like, and kind of readjust I think like your levels get off from the apps. Like I feel this guy.
Lose your social interactions. Has anyone ever asked you why you said no to a second date?
I've been asked, and I'm not going to tell them the truth. I would lie to them.
What do you say?
But that's the thing. What you said is completely correct. Like, you're going to make things comfortable. Oh, I'm sorry. Just not a romantic connection for me. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be like, and also, that's not a lie.
That's what I'm saying. That's not even really a lie, but it's not like what you're looking at. What are you going to, there's nothing you can do with that.
I don't even know what I would say to someone after one date. Like they would have to do something weird,
right?
And you
showed up. You showed up an hour and a half late. It just wasn't. I just
right after that. I couldn't really get.
Maybe I would tell someone that, but I think that would be obvious. Anything that like you would ask that someone would have to tell you would be obvious. If someone would tell it to you, you would already know.
Right, and I think this guy's asking. Again, the icks are now a popular thing, so he might be thinking like, well, I've heard like. Women are turned off in a blink of an eye, and you're like, it's an oversimplification. That's why it's fun to talk about the ick. It's not. They went on a date with you because you seem nice. They got there. There was something in the taste of the air, that can't be explained.
And he also doesn't even sound like he likes them that much either.
He doesn't even have a specific woman to talk about. Yeah,
I try to be open-minded. If the conversation's good, we have some things in common. I'm attracted to them. I'll go on a second date. It's like, do you actually even like them though? Or are you like, they're making it to round 2? Like maybe you actually wouldn't go out with them either if you were being as selective as they are.
Right, and that's why our first move wasn't even to answer his question. Mm-hmm. Like the feedback thing, just stop it. You don't need feedback. You're a human. You're gonna be okay. But we're more caught up on, dude, you're setting yourself up for failure via the dates you're creating.
Right.
And you need to create dates you're excited about. Again, something I understand completely. Like sometimes you just go on a date. And I think chances are minimal that you're going to come out of that with like, I got to go out with them again. If you're doing that off the bat. I think as a guy especially, like you don't have a lot of guys that are like, well, 8 dates in, I'm just not sure yet. It's just not a thing. So I think for this guy, and I'm in that group of like, I want to be excited for this date. And I think get in touch with what makes you excited. Also, planning a date does make you more excited. Mike with the kitchen, like I think like he's excited because he's involved. He's excited about the home renovation because he's going, I got an opinion on granite. Yeah. So, and I think, this guy, and it will surprise him. Let's do some research. Let's figure out nice places. If you're not looking to drink and be distracted, I think the wine coffee bar hybrid is like the answer.
Yeah.
I think that's like such a great space. It's always a little bit more quiet.
Good lighting is important.
Good lighting. Go out with friends to some places and put in your. Every woman has a list of like places I want to go, places I want to go on a drink, and I think a lot. My brother's good about this. My brother has is big on Google Maps with like.
Did he have like a lot of good reservations?
My brother,
yeah,
he just knew every city I go to. He goes, go to this place.
Right.
I've been wanting to go here.
That's good.
So like, if you mark a Google Maps, I mean, for this guy who's an efficient dude. Let's start getting into Google Maps and marking the calendar with places you'd like to go, and because you forget,
and it sets the date off on a good note. If you're like, oh, that's like the spot I'm looking forward to going to, not like the Starbucks on the corner of 32nd Street.
Right. People don't want to go out on second dates with someone that wasn't thoughtful for the first date.
Right. And again, it doesn't have to be like the nicest, fanciest restaurant. It's just it's not even about like the thought of the date. It's like picking somewhere that you went and you felt in a date vibe. You felt it was like a sexy vibe, because women are not necessarily as simple as men that way. I think we need like the stars to align.
Yeah. No, I
feel the vibe.
Listen, there's a place in the West Village. I always give it out here because I just think it's not because they've done it. St. Jardim. I think that's like such
great
a
first date spot.
Fabulous first date spot. Like if you look it up, Candace, and just look at the pictures, like if we can just show it on the Instagram, like it just looks like a place you would want to meet someone. Mm-hmm. And you can sit at the bar. It's usually very busy. I'm not like, this isn't like new news. This is like saying New Orleans is a fun place. Like it's like, but then there's like Will Fianella across the street, so the date can like extend, and then it can like, and that's a place you wouldn't go to for a first drink, but maybe for a second drink, and it's just, and you're in a neighborhood with a lot of places, and you're in the hot neighborhood. That neighborhood exists in every town, so like, doesn't that look like a place? I mean, look at this on the corner. You could be outside.
Love it.
Look at the lighting.
Good
inside.
Vibe. Nice awning.
Okay, so we're being informed by Candace that you can save places on the map on Instagram in the same way you can do it on Google Maps. It'll keep showing you places the more you save places. So there you go. And yeah, this is like a more of a planning issue than I gotta like go and figure out what I did wrong issue.
Right. That's a good first step, is don't ask someone on a walk. I don't want to go on a walk with you if I don't fucking know you.
I got my steps in.
My steps are for podcasts, not for like meeting someone when they're standing like parallel to me.
Coffee date, no.
Coffee date, no. Not as bad as the walk date.
Okay, so walk date, bad. Yeah. Coffee date, then bad. Coffee date. What are the drink date?
My first date. My favorite date is a first date. I would say is a nice bar.
Dinner date.
I agree with him. It can't be too loud that I can't hear anything you're saying.
Right.
But like, there should be some people there. Right. And the lighting should be good.
Dude, you're 32. You don't know a bar that like has like a nice little nook?
Yeah. I would say like, okay, FaceTime date, then walk date, then
dinner date,
then coffee date, then dinner date, then drink date. This is for first dates.
Yes.
That would be my ranking.
There you go. That's the ranking. There it is. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other dates that could be in that list.
I think even if I didn't drink, I would still want I would get like a mocktail at a bar.
Mocktails are in.
Because bars are sexy.
Bars
just are.
And mocktails are in. Like they're on a lot
many,
of
many
menus now.
So if that's his thing, I don't know if that was like part of the reason behind why he doesn't want to do a date. There's many.
Doesn't want to ruin his 5K he's got planned for the weekend.
I would feel more attracted to someone while sipping a mocktail than I would, walking next to them in a park. Or
it just feels like there's a time limit on it too, like coffee and a walk.
I just like all of it. It's like the lighting. It's like the I don't know, just like the vibe. There's like you want like a place with like some nice music. I don't know.
And the idea that like just because you go to a bar means that like you're. Like, I don't like what he said, like, the idea that you went to a bar so you it has to go romantic. Like, that's not the case.
No one thinks that.
No one thinks that.
No one's like, oh, we picked a bar, now I have to make out with him.
Right. He had that implication in his email. Too loud, distracted, but I also feel like there's less pressure for something to happen after the date.
Right.
That's a lot of, you're putting a lot on the other person's. You're assuming a lot for them.
I think this person is so cautious of not coming off too aggressive that they are not being aggressive enough, which isn't even aggressive.
Time to find your inner dog.
Woof woof. There we go.
I love seeing Candace's face. to the dog call.
Just horrified.
Horrified. Okay,
you want to read our next email?
This one's a tough one.
Yeah.
Woo, this is a tough one.
Strap in.
J&J, longtime listener. I appreciate it now more than ever. What a unique outlet you are for us listeners. That's right. I'm writing in with a situation that I really need help on, and I can't confide in anyone else in my life about. Came straight to J&J. That's right. Send your emails, uup@betches.com. My fiance and I... Fiance are in our mid-30s, have been together for almost 3 years. We got engaged last fall and are deep into wedding planning for our 200-person destination wedding this fall. This is like you and Mike. 200-person destination wedding in the fall?
That was only like 90, but yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Sorry. Everything about... Sorry, I forgot the count.
Okay. Sorry.
Everything about this relationship has been incredible up to this point. He's smart, generous, hardworking, patient, supportive, funny, and truly my favorite person and best friend.
But... Sorry, go on.
Dun, dun, dun. I had no doubts about spending the rest of my life with him until today. We are getting this hot off the press.
I cannot wait to find out what happened.
We were at the airport about to go on a trip to visit friends, and he confessed out of the blue that he had been sending inappropriate messages to a woman on Instagram. Phew. What a way to start a trip.
Yeah. Interesting timing.
Yeah. Apparently.
Do you have my boarding pass? I've been...
How? Why then? That seems like a bad...
Yeah, this is very...
Talk about timing.
This is very strange timing.
He must have thought she saw the message and was just like, I've had it. I got to tell you about this.
Well, I think there might have been a panic.
So Candace told us that we took a little bit of liberties with the email, and that there was that he watched a show about infidelity, and then the next morning they're at the airport, and it was on his mind.
Okay.
He confessed out of the blue. There's an episode of Suits. Suits is ruining everyone's fucking life. Mine too.
I like it.
Suits kicked me out of the top 10 of Netflix.
Way to make this about you. Fuck Suits, ruining relationships.
My life, this guy's life.
Everyone can relate to being kicked out of the top 10 on Netflix.
Right. Same thing. This woman's life.
Yes.
You can't get into it? You tried? Suits?
I tried like 4 or 5 episodes. I tried to start from the beginning. I wanted to like it. I did not like it.
All right. That's the review.
I think it's like soapy.
Well, it is like a contained thing. I think that's why people like it. It's like...
It's a little like ridiculous, I think. I don't know.
They're ridiculous, right? But it is very like... I guess it's like...
We only hire lawyers from Harvard here. Sorry.
It's the Law and Order. Like, Law and Order has this outer like arc for the season, but every episode ties up with a bow.
Right. But I like Law and Order more than Suits, because at least for Law and Order, like I don't have to like go along with like the ridiculousness of some people for like seasons on end. Like it's all just wrapped up in that one episode. So if I don't like a characters or I don't like the storyline, it's gone next episode.
So you don't like the main characters?
No.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. I've never watched. I just know
now
as
you
a
never
cultural
will.
Phenom that came out of nowhere. But I'm out. Fuck you, Suits.
Fuck Suits.
Okay. And for this woman, she hates Suits too, I'm sure. Okay. Out of the blue that he had been sending inappropriate messages to a woman on Instagram. Apparently, he's never met her, but they had matched on Tinder before he and I met and had messaged flirty stuff back then, and it petered out. Then about 9 months ago, she slid into his DMs and they flirted, sexted a bit. Then she would initiate every month or so and they'd message back and forth. According to him, he felt guilty about it happening the first few times and wanted to end it, but was afraid she would contact me, so he engaged a bit to not create conflict.
That part's the funniest part to me. The idea that she's like sexting him pictures of her or whatever, and he's like, love it. Like, that part doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
what's funny is that it makes the most sense to me.
Really?
I read that and I'm like, that's a dude move. It's like, let me land this plane. Okay. You know, like we got caught up. I made some mistakes, and now
what are you wearing?
Right? Nothing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of out right now, but cool. Hope you're having a great day. It's actually a bias of men
I think if you're sending sex though, that's not just going along with it to not rock the boat.
Here's my penis.
That's what I'm saying. If she's sexting and they're saying that.
Well, I kind of saw it a different way. It's interesting. You're like, if she's sending a tit, he's sending a dick, like reluctantly.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm imagining, like, oh no, I'm like caught in this. I can't stop.
Right. I know, and I do think there's another way to look at it, which is what I was thinking. Because you're right, that could be happening. Mm-hmm. We don't know the specifics, but I was thinking like he's being nice enough to like ease on out the door, Homer Simpson into the bush, because.
But would someone sext with someone who was acting like that?
You don't know what I've sexted with someone that was, again, timing. This is the theme of this episode. They're at home sexting and I'm walking. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
I'm walking going, yeah, hot. Like I'm on my way to do something. But wouldn't
the other person then like kind of like not, you can, like when you read the room?
I think texting, sometimes you can fake it better than anywhere else. But it is a bias of a lot of men, and this is what he's doing, in my opinion, and this is because, I'm not proud of it, but he's thinking like, oh, emotional woman might go crazy. At any time. And that's like a very
that's kind of the it's funny, that's like sort of the whole plot of Swim Fan. Have you ever seen Swim Fan?
No. What's the plot?
Swim Fan, great movie from like, what year was that? I don't know. 2003 maybe.
The whole room lit up on Swim Fan.
It's like, it's sort of like about, it's not about sexting, but basically in the movie, like there's this guy, he has a girlfriend, and there's this new girl that like moves to town, and like he kind of just like, he's like a little attracted, but he's not doing anything. And then like he's nice to her, and then she kind of like keeps moving kind of like escalating the situation, and then he accidentally winds up having sex with her in the pool.
My bad.
And then he's like, he feels bad. He starts to like withdraw, and then she goes fucking nuts and tries to kill him and the girlfriend. Spoiler alert.
That's. We talk a lot about Disney. It's made a lot about.
That's the male rom-com.
Right. We talk a lot about Disney movies.
Fatal Attraction. There's a lot of there. That's
the premise of so many movies of like, don't shake this woman too hard because she will ruin everything in your life.
Right, but also those tropes are also true. The man has to have fucked up for that to have happened.
Absolutely.
It's not like she just targets him and he hasn't done anything. Like in all these scenarios, the man gives in to his like desires, and then it gets completely fucked.
Yeah, he's Michael Douglas.
Right.
This guy.
What's that guy's name?
In Swim Fan.
Yeah. Jesse Bradford.
Was that the guy we had on the show?
No, that's Jesse Metcalf.
Oh, Jesse Metcalf.
Different teen star. Yeah.
Shout out Metcalf. We're supposed to go get drinks in the Village one day.
Oh yeah, he's from Bring It On. He's hot.
Good looking dude. Yeah. How old is he now? 44. Wow. I got time. Making about me. It's a tropey thing. And that's why he's acting. Like when I read that line, it's so funny. We picked up the same line.
Right.
And had two totally, like, it is, and I agree with you, it is ridiculous, the idea of like, oh, my penis, here you go. So
right, I didn't even really want to do it. Like,
right, but I do understand the, like, don't shake the boat. I can't have her going to my fiance, which you can see. But, as I read on, this person's also, not a single person as well.
Right.
So, according to him, he felt guilty about it happening the first few times and wanted to end it, but was afraid she would contact me. So he engaged a bit not to create conflict. He ended a few months ago after her boyfriend found the messages on her phone and got pissed, and she told my fiance about it. In his words, it was the last straw and woke him up that this was serious. He says he blocked her and deleted all the messages. He says he never intended to meet her and knew it would never go anywhere. We are in the U.S. and she is in Indonesia.
That's relevant, I think.
Completely.
Actually.
But also, how did they match on
Tinder? Maybe she was in town?
I guess.
He was in Indonesia?
I am obviously heartbroken and it hasn't even fully sunk in yet. I had no reason not to trust him before today. Now I don't know how to process this. We are booking a session with our couples therapist, but I just spent the 7-hour flight Oh my God, I can't imagine.
I can't believe he told her this.
Earth. I would do it after the flight.
Is he sitting next to her watching her like
Google swim fan?
Right?
I mean, I can't imagine a worse place
time when you're going to be sitting next to someone in a public place for 7 hours.
Just sitting middle seat.
Yeah, I mean, that's a situation where I'd be like, I feel like you should have told me this after the trip.
Right. Let's at least be in a place we can be in separate rooms.
Yes, where I can feel my feelings in a private area.
She's sitting there crying, watching Swim Fan on the TV in Delta Comfort.
What kind of trip was this? A group trip?
She was going to see friends.
That's even worse. Like, why? So we're gonna go and it's gonna make this so awkward. I have to pretend.
How you guys been?
Right.
Not well.
For a trip, it's not even like a dinner.
Why would he do this to the friends?
What is he doing?
This is worse to her. Fine, I agree. But to the friends you're staying with, they have to like sit with the two fucking miseries.
Right, because the option is that there's just like a weird tension and no one knows why all weekend. Or you tell them and you have to tell them.
And now sides have to be taken. Now they have to be the therapist.
Right.
This guy, I mean, this is also very male, the idea of like no thought of the future at all.
You didn't think of her at all. All right.
7-hour flight, Googling whether sexting is cheating. I have so many questions. A 7-hour flight is sexting cheating. Can you imagine being behind them, seeing the phone, being like, what did they say? You know, like.
Well, she's kind of looking for how upset to be is another part of that. You know what I mean? Like how bad is this? She's trying to figure out.
Which
diagnose the malignancy of this issue.
Right. As we talked about, like a very male thing is to like, tell me what went wrong on the date. Let me fix this. A very female thing to me, and please disagree with me if I'm wrong, is this idea of like, how mad will the Council of Women be about this?
That's part of the public shaming of it, or the public nature of it. I think is a factor. It's not the only factor, but I do think it's something that you're prideful about. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought I was marrying this catch, and it's actually someone who's not perfect at all.
Right. All the pictures I've put out to my friends are now a lie.
It's embarrassing,
I'm not saying they are, but like now it's like I'm the person who's saying I'm the perfect marriage, and it wasn't the case. And it's a little naked. Right. I would assume.
And a lot of that is based on like what's acceptable in your own social circles. Mm-hmm. You know, you might be in an E&M group, and someone's like, that doesn't matter, or you might, you know, what I mean, in a more traditional, or some groups of people think that watching porn is cheating. So I think it's like,
but I do think like the societal eyes on you feels more female. Like when she writes,
you
some
wouldn't
websites
think of that?
I guess I would, but I don't know. Googling, she says some websites call it soft cheating or cyber cheating. Do you guys believe that's a thing? Reddit says, like, the idea that she went to Reddit to figure out how wrong her husband was. And it's like, Reddit says, I'm going to assume Reddit's going to say not a positive thing about this. Reddit says I should dump him and run far away because he'll be a cheater forever.
That sounds like Reddit.
Very Reddit. Yeah. You know, but again, we deal in the world of social media and commenters. So like we know like Reddit probably not the best place to go for, did my husband cheat and is this cancerous?
Right.
Because both will give you a death sentence.
Right. Yeah, it's a dark hole.
Right. So the fact that she's on the opposite side of the world makes it better, right? I don't know. But they sorry not to help. But they exchanged photos, and apparently it wasn't just purely sexual. They would sometimes just message casually. That makes it worse, right?
Right.
I don't know. I'm not on that side.
I kind of think it makes it worse.
That is like, to me, the craziest part.
I kind of think it makes it worse.
To me, he's being nice. I don't know. The idea of like anything over text to me like is not a personal, like it's not like he's like, I just wish you were the one watching the movie with me.
It makes it less like, again, it makes it less of like a porn situation where it's like there's almost like there's like I'm sure you could find like an AI digital bot to sext you in today's landscape, right? But they're probably not asking you how your day was.
Right, but I guess like it would be more weird to me to like just get sent a picture without "How's your day?" I don't.
Yeah, so, you're not a complete animal.
Right. This guy's, he's a human being. He doesn't want to feel like
someone giving you a lap dance probably asks what your name is.
Right. Right. How was the bars
that
today?
Game?
Yeah. Right. You can have a little chit chat. Should I ask to see her profile and the messages if they can be restored? I don't think that's happening. I
don't think so.
I don't know about that one. Should I ask him to quit Instagram?
I don't know about that
one. I don't know about that one. Should we try to postpone the wedding?
Maybe.
Let's hold. We literally sent the save the dates out this morning.
After she sent it, was it? Oh, right before the
before. So they drop them in the mail.
This guy is like the worst time. It's almost like he's trying to be annoying.
Yeah.
Like we sent it out that morning, and then he sends it, but right after that, right after she sends the save the dates, but before the 7-hour flight.
Hey, on the way to Cancun, can you stop at the post office? I gotta drop off. Yeah, I think what happened was it all caught up with him. He watches the thing about infidelity. He goes to sleep. He doesn't sleep at all. They wake up. She's like dancing on her way to the post office to drop off the save the date. She's like, look at us, our perfect marriage. And, then he's like, I gotta just get this out of there so that we can move on from this. I can't sleep anymore.
Yeah.
So
poor guy.
I am in my mind envisioning everyone going, Jared, the worst takes ever. I'm just saying exactly what's going on here. Like, I know.
I mean, yeah, it happens a lot. Okay.
We literally sent the save the dates out this morning. Can you please help me level set where in the spectrum of cheating, lying this falls? Have you guys ever faced this kind of issue, a betrayed bitch? P.S. He said he was driven to confess to me because last night we watched an episode of Suits. What the literal fuck? Where Rachel, did you like Rachel?
I don't remember which one that is. Is that Meghan Markle?
Is it Markle?
Okay.
It's Meghan.
I mean, she looked great.
Where Rachel kisses her ex-boyfriend, and then there's drama about whether she should tell her current boyfriend about it. I love ethical dilemmas, and I had posed the question to my fiance last night. What would he do?
Okay. That gives a little more context.
Right. That's as to why the timing. I don't even remember what his answer was, but apparently the convo prompted him to confess today. P.P.S. I asked him why he had done it in the first place. He wasn't denying that it was cheating. He said he didn't know, but his best guess was that it started when we were in a rough patch and was feeling like he wasn't getting much positive attention from me. That's probably not a good reaction. I don't know about that one, dude.
No.
That's a brutal response.
Bad response.
You know why I cheated? Because you
didn't give me enough attention. It's a you thing.
This guy is going to be masturbating forever. This was also as big of a shock to me as the cheating. I didn't consider the situation a rough patch for the relationship. It was a difficult stretch for me as I was in a contentious legal situation that was complicated and stressful. At the time, he wasn't very supportive, and I did call. I mean, are we the marriage therapist? He wasn't very supportive, and I did call him out on that, and we fought about nothing that ranked as potentially questioning the relationship. Our sex life was still active throughout, and if anything, the whole stretch lasted maybe 2 to 3 months. Also, back then, I was the one who called out that the dynamic was off, and I wasn't getting what I needed, and he seemed checked out. The fact that he was not only not supporting me when I needed it, but was also going outside the relationship for attention somehow makes it all worse. Well, I can give a little, I guess he's kind of using your words against you.
Right.
Like, he's heard you say these things. It's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah,
like, to be
he's really like bringing her into the blame of this.
Right. He's going, remember when you said I checked out? Well, that was you that checked out. That's why, right. He's like trying to give concrete reasons that she'll understand because she's already said these out loud.
That she's acknowledged there was a period of being checked out by one of them.
To give a reason to his thing, which I don't think that's his reason. I think he's just like, I don't know the reasoning. I'm just saying like that's a very simple response from him. I don't even think that's, But what do you think?
Well, I mean, tough. I think it's great that they have a couples therapy session booked.
Already on the books.
Yes. I think, listen, I do think the fact that he told you is good.
Right. There's remorse. There's guilt.
There's guilt. There's remorse. To me, it's not like, I think that makes the level of future trust you could possibly have in him stronger than if you had just found this out on your own. Like, clearly this isn't something that he takes casually.
Right.
Or that he like thinks is okay. The fact that he told you about it.
Right. And to add to that, the idea that this could happen once and never again or never before, it is an option in the string of options.
Right.
You know, like when you go to Reddit, they're going to say once a cheater, always a cheater. And then they'll say this is cheating and you should run away from this person because you'll live every day of your life will be the hell that was that airplane trip for 7 hours next to him. Mm-hmm. And I just don't believe that. I'm a more empathetic person, I guess. I can understand. You get this message from someone you have a past with. They're in a relationship. You're in a relationship. It feels all like very much on your phone. And
feels innocent enough at first.
Right. It's innocent. And then it's on your phone, which feels like this like alternate
It's not
planet.
Real. Right. They don't live in the same country as you.
Right. I understand.
I'm not excusing any of this.
I'm not excusing. I just understand how mistakes get made.
Right.
You know, like if you don't understand how mistakes get made, I don't know how you're living on Earth.
Right.
Like I don't know, but I'm not apologizing. I do just think like the idea of like run away. I can't say that to this person.
Right.
You know, is it cheating? Yeah, I think it's cheating.
I think it's cheating. I don't think it's beyond repair if she's interested in doing that. I think it's a great thing that this happened before you got married. Mm-hmm. And I think this gives you an opportunity to, dare I say it, and, you know, potentially become closer, potentially like actually solve a problem that it seems like maybe the both of you just kind of swept under the rug before. Like this rough patch
was bigger than they thought. It wasn't began on June 1st and ended on September 29th, like the way they kind of explain it here, you know?
It wasn't like an isolated incident. It speaks to how you guys deal with conflict. And that's something that you should probably work out before or while you prepare to get married to someone for the rest of your life. And I think that like the sessions that you have in couples therapy will be very telling about if you can find a way to work through your shit.
You know, it's funny that this episode that we're doing right now, like everything's kind of connected a little bit to me. Mm-hmm. You talked about decorating the house, okay, and how discussing the house, you had to learn via, I'm sure, arguments that the way we're going about this ain't working.
Right.
We need Saturday after dinner house time. You know, like that didn't just happen.
Right.
You know, and
that's why they say relationships are work.
Right. Yeah. And again, fights about the house and fights about the woman he was messaging on Instagram, not apples for apples. But I'm trying to make a positive look at this. And I don't care about your fucking fiance. Like, I don't give a fuck. You want to dump him? Go ahead.
That would be fine. The brunch table would probably approve.
Right. Good for fucking you. And call me.
She's well within her rights.
Right. You have a right. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not like team man in this shit. But I do think it's interesting. What you're saying is the idea of like, does this make you a better couple? Could this?
Could it?
So you and Mike are a better couple for having fought about the house because now you probably look forward to Saturdays. You probably look forward to the Saturday after dinner when you talk about the house. Like you probably, right?
You can make something fun doesn't seemingly.
It wouldn't have happened without that. So for them, their house is this moment. Maybe
there's a level of betrayal here that obviously doesn't occur in the house discussion.
Of course, they're not the same. But I'm saying this could create. I'm getting a call. Oh, it's her husband. He said, "Let's go out tonight and meet women." What? So no. But I'm saying what could come from this is something that you look forward to in your relationship. And again, the professional, the marriage counselor would be the one to tell you what that could be. But like the idea of like Saturday after dinner, we talk about our feelings and the relationship, you know, for these two could be an option. Yeah. I don't know. Like
punish him that way.
Right. I would like that though. If it was gamified a little bit. Well,
that's why a lot of people like couples therapy, I think, because there's this sense of like, this is where we take, any problems we have throughout the week. This is where we can bring them.
Right.
And we can talk about them in this kind of like safe space with the person who's like there to help us figure out what we're doing is healthy or not healthy.
Right. But you have to have capacity for forgiveness. If you don't, and that's okay, then you got other problems.
I mean, this is a betrayal of trust.
Right. He's got to be able to work on it. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think, like, I don't know.
He has to be able to be accountable and not blame you for that also, obviously.
Right. And yeah, I mean, like his response, obviously, that's not really, it doesn't sound right to me.
Right. I think even if that's how he felt, I think a better way to put that would be like, I was feeling really insecure.
Right.
Because it felt like we weren't connecting.
Right.
Like to even say that it was like that it was like you weren't paying enough attention to me.
I wasn't connecting with you is different than
like we weren't connecting, which she could probably agree with. I kind of felt very isolated and I felt kind of alone. And to me, that part still seems weird because it's like you're sexting. Does that help you feel less lonely? I don't know.
Right. I mean, would the response from him, and I'm giving a response. Okay.
Let's hear it.
Nobody
We're coming
kill
for you.
Me. What if he was just like, it was a hot chick who's showing me her tits and
no.
No. But if it was like,
have you seen her boobs? Have you seen them? Let me show you.
Maybe hot chick wasn't the. It was on my phone. It felt like porn more than reality. And I got carried away. And then the moment I got carried away, I'm like, fuck, this person can ruin my life. And I tried to like kind of exit slowly. And I made a mistake. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, that's like the more...
We're still going to couples therapy, but
of
I
course.
think that makes...
I'm saying, like, would that count as a reason that could be understood? Because, like, I'm, like, thinking of, like, the... And again, like, I'm just thinking of the internet world versus the real world versus the people you talk to. Like, the idea that a woman could send me nudes and I go, ooh, and I also don't want to fucking talk to her.
Right. I mean, in a perfect world, a man who an ex-Tinder match reaches out to them and starts speaking, says, hey, I'm in a relationship. I'm not really like, I have a girlfriend now, whatever it is. Like, says that like immediately, right?
Okay.
And then the shades of gray get darker from there.
Right.
It's like pure impure, right?
Well,
like
that's the perfect. That's the problem with him deleting all the messages. Like that. Like I'm her,
I wouldn't want to. Like I guess I would want to see, but like
I would want to see the progression if he's like, oh, it just kind of like happened and I'm trying to get out of it. Like,
well, the thing is, her question I think needs to be to herself before she decides to get married is, can I trust this person or can I get back to it? Do I think I can get back to a place ever of being able to trust this person? Without
asking them to delete Instagram.
Right.
I think that's an important part.
A real level of trust.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Can I trust them when I know that they can do untrustworthy things?
Right, that they're capable of it.
Right. Yeah. And some people can't get to that. You know, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what she has to discover probably with her own therapist aside from him. Because that's a big question. If you're starting off into a marriage where you don't trust the other person, you're going to have a very long... And she shouldn't trust him because he was lying to her. But
is there any...
Could she get back there? Does she see a way where they could get back to that point?
Is there any version of this that's not cheating? Like
you're talking to her?
She's very concerned with the label of what this was. Mm-hmm. We're both sitting here going, this seems like cheating.
Right.
You know, he's conversing with someone that he matched with on a dating app.
Is it as bad as going out and having sex with someone? No. I don't think that. I think cheating obviously feels binary, but I do think it's a spectrum.
Yeah. Well, right.
I don't think all cheating is exactly the same.
No, I don't think so either, but I also think that I don't think that the brain works that way. Like, I think you cheated.
Right.
Is just...
Well, that's how she's categorizing it.
Right. Like, I agree with you. Like, if he had fucked her, different, but the same level of distrust.
Right. Well, what we need to get to is, like, why does he want to do that? Right? Like, what's the underlying reason? How does he know he's not going to do that again? When if he feels a sense of not being connected.
Well, that's the hardest part is, like, it's like when someone says food addiction, they go... Well, food is everywhere. Like, I can't not eat food. So that's the hardest part about food addiction. You have to eat every day.
Well, you have to get to the root cause of it.
Right. But then
it's not like put a lock on the fridge. like she's saying with the Instagram.
Right. But, you hear from married people. I've heard from married people. They're like, you never stop looking. You never stop being attracted to men or women. So that's the hard part here is that like she has to trust him in a world where she knows she's attracted to other people on a daily, monthly basis or, and she knows he is.
Well, the question is not like, are you never going to be attracted to anyone else? It's like, where are you channeling that energy or what are you doing with that? And I think that's a very real discussion involving some vulnerability. And again, I don't think the solution is he can only ever be attracted to me ever. I don't think that's she has
to be okay with that too, though. Like I do understand how that could get like meshed together.
Right, but there's obviously lines of like action.
Right.
That, do you know what I mean? Like you could want to do something and wanting to do something and doing it are very different things. That's sort of what makes us different than animals.
Right. Right. Well, if it makes her feel better, there's probably not a lot of other women out there that he matched with before you two. Like,
right.
I
understand. I understand his how it could happen, seemingly not feeling like as nefarious as it was. And again, I think the fact that he told her means he like probably wasn't like trying to do this.
Right. He's might be more likely to be in a position to like, let's work on it.
Right.
Let's play some games.
Okay.
On a somber, let's play some games.
Let's do it.
It's like when the TV show does like the soft version of their like theme song.
Right.
Like we go from a cheating story
to let's play some games. Right. Two were murdered in the park. And now Joe with the weather. Okay.
Let's red flag or deal breaker. The game that started this show. Are you ready?
I'm ready. All right. Hi, J&J. Huge fan of the pod and benefit subscriber here with a red flag deal breaker. Jared, please bring your show to Cleveland again. I'm ready to assemble the group chat.
I think I'm booked in Cleveland, but I just don't have the link yet. Sometimes I mention being booked somewhere and everyone's like, where is the link? And I'm like, I want it too. Link. Yeah. It's coming. Something's coming. I think it's in August is when I'm coming. So, all right.
I, 30 female, went on a third date with a guy I met on Bumble, 35 male, and went back to his house after. We both live in nice suburbs of Cleveland and are new homeowners. He gave me a tour of his new house. The first and second floors of the house looked completely redone and were really nice. Ooh, who's this contractor? Sorry. And but he mentioned before showing me his basement that it was unfinished and creepy. Upon entering the basement, he showed me the normal parts of an unfinished basement, storage racks, laundry, etc., and then showed me a small area with the Joe Goldberg U-style cage, but made with bricks and wood instead of glass. He also then disclosed that his house had been vacant for 2 years because someone died in it. Then a flipping company redid it, obviously not the basement.
Wouldn't that be the first thing you redid?
If there was a cage there,
right.
I feel like maybe.
It's kind of a weird...
Well, some people don't finish basements. They figure like
I'd at least clear out the cage.
I would do that too.
Yeah.
And then he bought it. After further inspection of the cage...
How about you get in there and take a tour of it?
Yeah, I would be like a little scared of the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
After further inspection of the cage, I noticed that part of a wall was punched out as if someone was locked in there and escaped. I'll note that at no point did I ever feel unsafe or uncomfortable with him, and we've gone on a few more dates since. I just don't know about how I feel about spending more time at that house, which is likely since we live on opposite sides of town, or what owning that house says about his character. So
the character. That's crazy.
Right. Red flag or deal breaker. He has a cage in his basement. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Thank you for doing the Lord's work. Signed, Joe Goldberg's next victim.
Hold on. Wasn't Cleveland where the house where that woman was locked in the basement and the guy was like, they made the song?
Oh, like the Kimmy Schmidt thing?
Yeah, Kimmy Schmidt was based off of, wasn't this, remember that
Is
guy?
Is it that house?
I think that's the house. That was in Cleveland, right?
Isn't our feng shui expert from Cleveland? She should get in there. Right?
Fix this place up. Remember the song? It was like the guy was singing on his front porch. They turned it into a song.
I kind of know what it's like from the Kimmy Schmidt thing. Right?
Yeah. Kimmy Schmidt came after this.
Yeah. But was it the Kimmy Schmidt like theme song?
Yes. What is it? No, it's a real story. But Kimmy Schmidt came after it as a kind of like playing up what life would be like after someone escaped from someone's basement or from a community where they were held, out of society. But then that house was in Cleveland. I remember. I mean, I don't think this is it's a little bit.
I don't think it's the house. You're scaring her.
Well, it's a little bit
Google
coincidental. Amanda Berry.
Maybe that's just what they do in basements in Cleveland. Maybe it's just a Cleveland basement thing.
Listen, it's weird to get. First of all, it's weird to go, "Hey, let's tour my house," and also,
right? I'm surprised he wasn't
like element to it.
I'm surprised he wasn't like, "There's nothing in like the basement's unfinished." It's like you don't even need to see it,
right? Like I
like you showed it to her.
Here's the deal breaker of this: is if you live in the Amanda Berry house, so to speak, and it has this long history, like this crazy history. On the date, if you're talking about we both own homes, oh, where's yours? You won't believe it. It's a house that has a cage in the basement. Like, that would be the first thing I would use to describe a house. And then
is she sure it's a cage?
Whatever it is, it creeped her out enough to write into this podcast.
Right.
And then she would have to say to me, I gotta see it. For me to, in any way,
right? You wouldn't just casually show it to them.
I don't like it's the way it was done that creeps me out.
I kind of agree. Although she said she didn't feel unsafe.
Good for her. I can't tell her how to feel, but like I just the way it was.
It needs to be presented like I got a great deal on this house.
Right.
The upstairs is beautiful. The one drawback, it's got this very creepy basement.
And there was a death.
Yeah.
And then you will see it when you see it, if you choose to come to my house. Not, do you want to tour and see the cabinets I chose?
I'd be scared.
Also, let's go downstairs and tour the cage? Like, I don't like the way it was done.
I could agree with that.
That would bother me.
Would you be out?
Yeah, I would be out based on, like, why am I being breadcrumbed to cage and basement?
Right. Well, I would be like, why haven't you, like, immediately gotten rid of that cage?
Right.
As soon as you moved in.
Yeah, that's before you do the bathrooms.
Right.
She says it was renovated. I can't believe that the company that renovated was like, keep the cage. They might want it.
Yeah, right. For storage.
Right. It's crazy. I would clean that out immediately, especially if there's this history of a death. I don't want creepy death shit in the basement that I'm trying to sell of the house. It's all bizarre.
She should say that to him, but in a public place.
Right.
Right. Not when they're in the basement, so she doesn't wind up in the cage.
Yeah, it's not as simple as he has a cage in the basement. I can understand.
The cage in the basement, if he explained it the right way, not a big deal.
Not a big deal. It's, hey, you want to see the place? Oh, maybe we shouldn't go to the basement. What do you mean? This is every start of every horror movie. Yeah. This is how you get in the cage.
I would say that.
This is how you cage a woman.
101. Caging a woman.
Well, it's fucked up. I don't know. Like, I don't like... When I heard Cleveland in this story, I was like, that's that story.
First of all, definitely look it up. That might just be like maybe that's why it happened in Cleveland. They all every house has these basements.
The only reason I knew it was Cleveland, right? The only reason I knew it was Cleveland is Michelle Wolf was doing a bit about it. And we were in Cleveland. I was opening for her. And I remember she was like, someone from the crowd told her, like, this is the number one place that happens. Where people get caged in basements. Like,
how often does it happen?
I guess it's a thing. It's number one. You win, Cleveland.
All right. Now I'm not going back to Cleveland.
Yeah, we're done. I'll be there in August. All right.
Can't keep you away.
No.
That would be ironic if you wound up in a cage after going.
Can you imagine if I went there and they're like, never came back?
We'd come rescue you.
Please
do.
That's where I am if you don't know where I am.
In someone's cage
in
Cleveland. All right.
I have a red flag deal breaker for you. He downgrades your dinner reservation. Backstory. I've been revisiting things with a situationship that ended a few months ago. This is Can you imagine someone saying this to you like at like a brunch? So I'm back with a situation.
I would love that. I'd want to hear more.
Last week, he invited me to dinner at a nice restaurant, which he seems excited about, not something that I asked for or suggested. On Friday, he started telling me as I was boarding a plane that it wasn't fair that I had told him that I hadn't told him enough about how I felt about us. The conversation got cut short. Doors were closing, phone in airplane mode, and the usual next step to anticipate when you're boarding a plane. The usual next step to anticipate when you're boarding a plane. And next I heard from him was Monday morning when he texted, hope you had a nice weekend. I canceled our dinner reservation. Oh, my God. He still wants to go to dinner this week, but somewhere else. And he still wants to take me to this nice restaurant, but not this week. We're not sure what the difference is between the two restaurants or what information changed between us when he asked me and when he downgraded me. But I guess I'll find out tomorrow. Also,
Okay.
It feels relevant to mention that this man is a 36-year-old and is well connected in the area. So the nice dinner was probably going to be for free for him. Sincerely, place your order at the counter.
This whole interaction kind of like sucks.
Yeah.
All of it.
And she's like a participant.
Right. I'm kind of like, why is anyone doing any of this?
Right.
Like,
this we are in the middle of their what turns them both on, this game of like
who gives a shit less?
Right.
I don't know. It seems like weird.
It's very gamey.
Right.
And we're getting thrown into it of like, so who do you think wins the game?
Right.
And it's like,
and
you both should just
go
never talk again. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing with a situationship. A situationship happens when one person wants to date and the other person doesn't really want to date.
Wants to date less, yeah.
Yes. And so it seems like she's implying that she's the one who wants to date less.
I guess. I don't know. It's all confusing. To me, it's funny how I hear these things and you hear the
right.
Like I kind of heard this as her playing it a little too cool when she's not really as cool with it as she may profess to be.
Right.
Like the idea that you're going on the plane, it's like, what? Airplane mode. Talk to you Monday. Like that's not how people communicate.
Yeah. Your communication really sucks. This is you should not go on the date.
And you have other personal things involved. And again, I don't think it's unfair to believe you've been downgraded when someone's like, you didn't open up about your feelings. Now we have dinners canceled, bitch.
But
like,
there's another dinner.
But yeah, like
there's another cheaper dinner.
Right.
Right.
And so it's like you have like assumed that the cheaper dinner is for cheaper woman kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know.
And it was the dinner was going to be free. That's also weird.
Right. It's not like he can't afford it. That's not what it's about. You feel that a dinner was taken away from you because you did wrong.
Right. Everything about this just screams toxic.
Right.
The deal breaker is every word that you guys are saying to each other.
Right. You should stop talking to this person. I've been revisiting things with a situationship that ended a few months ago.
No.
So you're revisiting something to either make it a hookup. And you go, and she writes, this is something people do when they're in situationships. I didn't ask for a dinner, but you're going on it.
Right.
I don't care.
That's the thing. You're a participant. So that's why situationships last so long, is because like both people are continuing to play the game.
Right. And you're going to the dinner because I think there's an element of being hopeful that this means this guy's serious now.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you didn't tell him how you felt, which is toxic from him, like, why do you have to tell him how you feel about this dinner? You're going out to dinner.
I mean,
and then he goes, well, dinner canceled. You're going Olive Garden.
Right.
Like, it's like,
this is bad. You guys are too old to be doing this.
End it.
End it. All right.
End it, you old woman.
Last one. Here's the situation. The last person I dated was significantly older than me. I'm 27 and he just turned 40. We ended things about 2 years ago, somewhat due to age differences, and I'm now with someone who's a much better fit. Recently, friends of mine have sent me screenshots of his profile on Bumble, and he lists his age as 29. How is he planning for this to pan out when his new Bumble boo inevitably realizes he is 40 years old?
Ew!
Why do this? That's Jared's ew, not mine.
That's me.
I will say that
I'm 40 in less than a year.
I know. I will say that he was very slow to tell me his age when we started talking. I would have guessed he was 30, but I guess I could have asked sooner, so I don't blame him for that. I just wonder your thoughts on him lying about his age on the apps. And if you were to find this out while dating him, would this be a red flag or a deal breaker? Sincerely, Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's any lying on the apps, like you're lying before you even met.
Right.
Yeah, it's insecure. And then you see on the apps, I'm really 30, but it says I'm 25.
Right.
And it's like, well, then fix it.
It's weird that he's like tricking women into thinking that he's younger than he is.
Right. And this is to go back to like, why do people catcall? Why do people do this? They do this because they're hoping it works.
If you found out a woman lied about her age on the apps, would you?
Yeah, I'd be turned off.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, well, how old are you? You know, that'd be first question.
Right.
And then it would
very
be,
important question.
Is that so? Why do you?
You'd be
hate,
like, sometimes I feel like guys won't go out with me because I'm, 42.
Well, the reason he's doing this is to get in someone's particulars. Like he's trying to get
right. He's trying to get into the range,
and it's just like.
But if he was trying to get into the age range, I would go with like 39.
Well,
he's like trying to go way younger.
He really wants 27.
Right.
He's not making any of this.
Is this Leonardo DiCaprio?
Right. He's not letting any of this, play out. He's not like, he's really not looking to waste his time with some old 35-year-old.
But to me, he's also not looking for a real relationship, or why would you start it off like that?
I think that, fair, right. I don't think a real good relationship can start from, tricked you, I'm 20, I'm 30, I'm 40, but I do think he's like, it's an element of like, once I get in there,
they're going to see how amazing I am.
And they're not going to care.
Well, that's why people lie about anything on the apps, right?
And that's his plan, which is a turnoff to me. That would be I don't know if it'd be it's hard to say because I do think there's an element of him being right where if I matched on an app where I've set up my parameters to, like if I was on an app, I'm not, would be if I set it up to 39 my age to 29.
Right.
Which seems appropriate to me. If I matched with a woman who was 40, but she put that she's 37, and then we're months in and I really liked, I don't know, I don't know if I would be out.
Mm-hmm.
I would go, if
it was close, 37 and 40 is closer than 30 and 40.
Right. I guess if they're 50 and they set it to 37.
Yeah, I think the bigger it is, the weirder it is.
Right.
If you're lying to get into into a zone, then go to the highest number in that likely zone.
Right. And I guess I'm thinking of it differently than a 27-year-old would think of it. Like at 39, I'm going, well, maybe I did miss out on the person. Maybe my parameters did fuck me over, and thank God you made yours 37 instead of 50.
Right.
And I think at 27, where it seems predatory, is like, they should be able to have the right to go up.
Yeah.
I think it's different, male and age-wise, don't you think?
Yeah. I think that 10 years would be a deal breaker. If it was like 2 years, I could maybe, and he said it pretty quickly into dating. I could get over it. Yeah, I could get over it.
I think the quicker I found out, the more I'd be out.
Really?
The later I found out, the more I guess I would be in because I'm already in it.
If the bigger the age gap, I think the later I found out, the more I'd be in. But like,
you're 80?
Hopefully I'd know.
Right.
Well,
it's an interesting dilemma that people wouldn't think is that hard
just tell
to
the
decide
truth.
on. Yeah, but he's not listening. I promise you.
Oh yeah, I doubt it.
Okay. Listen, before we end today's episode, and we saved this for the end of today's show, before we tell you how much we solved dating, we have to do a very special goodbye.
We do.
To a very special person with this podcast. Our producer extraordinaire is moving on to the next wonderful, amazing thing. Jorge, thank you. You're going.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for doing such a great job with this show. You're beloved by the audience.
Thank you.
And us.
And us, of course.
It's been a pleasure. It's a little bittersweet. I've really loved being here and taking part in you guys solving dating week in, week out. But yeah, I'm gonna miss my time here. It was lovely, and I'm sure you will keep solving the world and solving dating, but I'll keep listening as a fan.
We love that. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Do you have any peaks or pits from producing this show?
Peaks and pits. This is so HR approved. Yeah.
Peak was definitely the apartment tour. That was the funnest thing.
That was really
I loved
fun.
doing that. Planning it, editing it, releasing it. It really was
that was really
big
fun.
highlight.
Well, I mean, that sort of brings us to where you're going, right? Like you are kind of love like stage.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So before I worked at Betches, I used to work in theater design and projection design. So I'm kind of trying to move more in that direction. So the next stage kind of looks a little bit more flexible, a little bit more freelance stuff. But that was definitely one of my favorite things to produce. Like that type of event and stuff is something that I'm really looking forward to, kind of doing more work in that area. So
maybe we'll get you back
time
for a freelance of my house.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
That's why we need YouTube subscribers. Get Jorge back here.
Yes.
To make the house
subs. Yeah,
that's right.
I'll come back.
And you've been an amazing producer. I think the listeners will definitely miss you. You brought a more a tamer version of a male perspective, I think, than Jared's.
Listen, I was so happy to have someone to turn to go, am I crazy, dog?
And the answer was always yes.
And it was a little crazy, but I think the listeners appreciate it. Obviously, we appreciate it. I consider you a friend. We want, and anytime you come back or wherever, the U-Up will always be here for you, Jorge.
Thank you. And I'm sure I'll keep running into you at random times at the West Village. So
I saw Jorge walking his
Jared's
dog.
gonna be stalking your apartment in case anything happens to you and your wife, so he can get in there.
Gotta trying to get out of that closet I'm living in. I want to go right to your huge abode for $200 a month.
It's not huge and it's not 200.
Okay. So is it a Kimosabe hat a month?
It's kind of.
Oh, wow. I'm so jealous.
That's pretty nice.
So, Jorge,
thank you so much.
Congratulations on the next venture. We're so happy to have known you and worked with you. It's been amazing. So,
thank you. I'll miss you guys.
And we will miss you and the audience if you want to.
Yeah, where can they if they want to find you? Can they find you or not really?
No, not really.
No, all right. Fuck off.
Jorge just disappears into the fog, never to be seen again. And I love that.
I love it.
So, that's it for us. We solved dating, and we'll be back on Sunday. Good luck, Jorge.
Bye. The U-Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow @u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.